Hey guys, Merry Meet, and welcome to week 3 of YouTube Pagan Challenge. And I'm glamorous today. I don't know if you noticed. I was just sitting here in the office, and my husband put it on me. So, sure, we're gonna wear this today. So today's topic is again the Book of Shadows, and it's about how do you organize it, your table of contents, do you use bookmarks, that sort of thing. And again, I'm working on my Book of Shadows. It's a work in progress. I have I have a Scrivener project, which if you're not familiar with Scrivener, it's a writing software and it helps you like organize everything. I have printed maybe 3 or 4 pages off of it because what I want to do is I want to collect everything in Scrivener and then take that information, put it through InDesign and make it pretty, somehow, you know, Book of Shadow E, I guess, and and then print it from there. So the only things that I have really printed are really tarot spreads that I've done, um, like templates that I've made, I've printed out, and also a table where with the full moon and new moon times and dates, so that I can kind of like write down what my intention was, and then write down whether I got there, how it went. So um, just things that I would use on a pretty regular basis. And I'll end up putting those in the Book of Shadows and designing some stuff and drawing on some stuff and everything. So again, it's a work in progress. Like I'm getting there. So, um, but what I have so far in my table of contents in the Scrivener project is the yearly moon tables, like the one I showed you, um, the full moon names, and this has the Native American names, the shamanic names, the Celtic names, neo-pagan names. I feel like that's kind of important to know because it kind of shows you like what the moon and the time of year represented to different cultures. And I do kind of try to keep that in mind in my practice. And you'll see that kind of in my Bewitching the Moon videos where I try to stay attuned to those cycles. So then I have a section for the Sabbats, you know, naturally, um, where I have ideas for celebrating the Sabbats, recipes for the Sabbats. I'll probably end up with like poems for the Sabbats, um, notes of if I found neat places to celebrate or something. This is all going to grow. I mean, this is kind of like bare bones at this point. I've been trying to work on this as much as I could, um, but the holidays, like, there's been no time. So I have a section on deities, naturally, and my matron and patron deities, different names for the deities. I'm really always curious about the people who worship them and the locale of where they were centered. So I try to do as much research as possible because as new pagans, we try not to appropriate cultures, but we do have this amazing wealth of information about all these different cultures and all these different practices. So, like, different cultures do inform our practices. So I like to really try to learn as much as I can about the deities as a form of respect to them and to the cultures they came from. So I've got Hecate, for example. I've got just information about her different names, her holy days, that sort of thing. Symbols, herbs that are sacred to Hecate, stones, and then recipes, where I've got, herbal blends, oils, a bath, a soap, that sort of thing. So I have those sections for the deities. And when I put this together, I will have pictures of the deities as well that I print up. Um, in all honesty, I'll probably do my own artwork because I want this to be as personal as possible. I have a huge section, unsurprisingly, on tarot. So I've got a section on the major arcana. I've got a page for each of the cards where I look at what they represent. Um, for example, the Fool. I'm looking at the Fool right now. The basic properties of the Fool card. Um, the Green Man, which is in I want to say it's the Sacred Circle Tarot. But you know, different cards that take the fool's place in different decks. So the reversals and the symbolism, because I'm really, you know, focusing on the symbolism right now. So I've got the major arcana, the minor arcana, then I've got the spread templates. And again, I don't mind showing you this because I actually blogged about it already. So I've got these templates where I have clearly I need to resituate them. I was trying to like leave room for a hole punch, but it kind of ended up being like kind of weird on the page. But I've got the squares here for where the cards go, and then the description. So I'm going to add these to my Book of Shadows. So I've got a lot of these templates that are just blanks, and I'll print them up as I need them. So let's see, the spread templates for various spreads, and notes on readings, you know, which I think that's really going to take the place of that. So we'll call that like a miscellaneous. So then I've got a section for correspondences. And this is the section that's going to be huge. I've got one for the chakras. I have a page for each chakra. Herbs, and I've divided herbs into kitchen herbs, other herbs, and poisons. I tend to do a lot of kitchen witchery, and so I'll be using different herbs for kitchen witchery versus, you know, making an incense, or I tend to make a lot of incenses, that sort of thing. Poisons, probably, you know, I can't imagine a situation where I would use poisons, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's just interesting to research the properties. So, I have a section in the correspondences section for foods. I have a section for stones. I have a section for animals, and I'll separate that from, you know, into birds versus mammals versus sea creatures versus insects, that sort of thing. So they'll be kind of separated out a little bit. I have a section in the correspondences for specific uses. For example, for clearing negativity, which, you know, I'll have sage and salt, tourmaline, you know, obsidian, that sort of thing. Love, lunar, money draw, that sort of thing. So I'll be able to look it up by the use. And then just a section for oil recipes, a section for tea recipes, a section for soap recipes, a section for powder recipes, incense recipes, any kind of recipe. So, yeah. So those are my correspondences. I don't have anything else to say about that. I thought I did. Then I have a section for symbols. And I have a page on runes, on witches' runes, Ogum, on Ogum few sets, sigil magic, miscellaneous, just various other things that come up. And then actually in my Book of Shadows, I have a journal. And for the journal, what I intend to record are animal omens. Animal omens really kind of show up for me, especially bird omens. And I like to record when certain birds show up because it not only helps you attune to the seasons as far as like, you know, when the first robin shows up or when the cardinals are around or that sort of thing, but it helps you see cycles, and it helps you kind of go back and look at things and be like, oh, okay, that's what that was about. So birds really show up for me a lot. So and I'll do some dream interpretation and that sort of thing too. Anything magical that I feel should be noted that I can refer back to later. So, and then I've got, yeah, notes for the full moons. So that's going to be more in depth than the lunar table that I showed you, where I just kind of write little snippets. It's going to be like the things that I've done for the full moon. So, again, I'm not really into recording rituals, but like I am into taking notes about things that occur to me on the full moon. Like, hey, I should do this, or, you know, things to refer back to. I don't know. So yeah, there's clearly going to be a lot more, but that's what I have right now. So, yeah, again, I highly recommend if you're just trying to like gather your thoughts and have kind of like an organized outline for something, I highly recommend Scrivener. Super good for organizing like that. Super good for just organizing your thoughts. So that's it. That is what is going to be in my Book of Shadows, and I'm sure that I'll come back and show you guys a little bit more as I'm moving on with that. So that's it. Blessed be. Hope you guys are having a great day. Bye bye.